Hey guys, welcome to the Good Stuff Podcast. I'm Derek.
And I'm Ashley. Both raised in Marysville, Ohio, we decided to stay here and raise a family and start 2 small businesses because we absolutely love our community.
We just want to take some time to celebrate the good people, places, and things here in our community that we love and share some of that good stuff with you.
So, enjoy the good stuff. Okay, so welcome back for another episode of the Good Stuff Podcast. This is almost like Good Stuff Podcast Bix Part 2. Because last week we spoke to Corey Bix with, local resident, but with United Way of Union County. And today we get to talk to Miss Gigi Bix.
Yay!
Thank
you. The talented.
Yeah, super talented. I was thinking today, I think I've known you for like 11 years, maybe 12. I can't remember if I taught you the first year or if I came in, like if you were one of my original students or if I came in to do the competition.
Yeah, I think you came in and I remember John was like, okay, Ashley's coming in. I'm like, she teaches the big kids. I don't know if I'm ready for that. It was so fun.
And you were totally ready. So you have how many more days until...
I'm not really sure.
Try again. So you have how many more days until you're a senior? How many more days of school?
So last week was our kind of last week of school because this week is finals.
Just finals?
Yeah, or
okay.
like not really finals. With the mastery learning, I think you have to get an 80% or higher. So like retakes, all of that, remediation. Okay. And so my last day technically was Friday.
Okay.
So.
And now you're just like wrapping things up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I'm for student council and stuff, like we've started having meetings with teachers and administration. It's just weird to think forward that much, especially because I'm like, I don't know if I'm mentally ready to become a senior. So yeah, but it's really exciting.
That's awesome. So what position in student council?
President.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. I'm really, really excited. Can I say the different positions as well?
Yeah, for sure.
You know Matthew Smith?
Yes.
He's our vice president.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe he's a senior too.
I know, it's crazy. And he's been one of my best friends since kindergarten. So like we both have been really excited about student council. We actually ran against each other in 5th grade.
Ooh.
And he always is like resentful of me winning. Sorry. But so we're excited to work together. And then Joseph Digney is our secretary.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so it's a really good team. I like working with the guys, so it's fun. And we're meeting to discuss freshman day this week, so I'm really excited.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is
it's
weird,
crazy.
Especially given that freshman day it doesn't seem like it was too long ago for me. So
Right.
But yeah.
So student council is just one of the many hats that you wear, programs that you're involved with, other than dancing.
Oh, yes.
So talk a little bit about all of the groups or, like I don't know what you would call global scholars, like groups or programs or whatever that you're affiliated with and kind of give us a little rundown of what each of those are.
Well, there are definitely a couple. So I can start with Global Scholars. Global Scholars is a program that is designed to make students more culturally aware in terms of future global careers.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-year program. So you start when you're a sophomore, and the first year you're kind of like gaining this global awareness. The second year you're kind of dabbling into what you want to do, and then the third year is your Take Action project.
Okay.
And so you kind of tackle a global issue and how it affects 2 countries, and kind of you take that to the Global Scholars Fair. I believe this year it was held at Otterbein.
Okay.
And what I'm thinking of doing for my project is I really want to do a broad drive, which I know is a little like crazy to think about, but I think my focus I want to be is domestic violence. So kind of when you're at the hospital, when you are a victim of domestic violence, I think what they give you is, I could be wrong, but I think they give you just a t-shirt and a pair of panties. And so you're not really provided with the supplemental material, like a bra, and I for the longest time, I have 2 older brothers. And so like saying bra was like a dirty word in my house. So when my mom and we would go bra shopping, I'd be like, Mom, like I needed more BRAs. And so that was the big
like your brothers don't know how to spell or something.
Right. And so we actually recently went bra shopping, and the woman said, you can donate these because we will give them to the shelters. So I think that's what I want to focus on with my global issue.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to hopefully, if Plum Home, they've decided, I think they're going to help, with helping gather the materials and stuff. So I'm really excited about that.
Awesome.
And just empowering women. So that's kind of the plan for that. And then
very cool.
Student United Way. I'm sure my mom talked about United Way being a big part of that. So we founded Student United Way, was it last year? It seems like forever ago because of the pandemic.
Yeah, right. Right.
But it was last year in which we founded the program, the chapter in Marysville, I should clarify. And Brandy Hibbs is our amazing advisor. She has been amazing in just getting students involved. And so we are trying our best this year to help spread awareness about homelessness in Union County, especially with the new shelter. Yeah. So currently, I think we just did a Pampered Chef fundraiser on Facebook. And so all the proceeds went to, I believe, having a room kind of funded by Student United Way.
Oh, that's super cool. That's super cool.
So it's been awesome. Tony Ufinger was able to come in and talk to us. Yeah. Bridges, they were able to come in. We did a podcast with them as well. Cool. So, and I love it because it brings in kids from all over the county versus just people
Marysville
that you see
kids
in your math class or anything, from day to day. So
is Student United Way a then national thing? That there's
yes, I believe so. Okay. Yeah, they have a great chapter in Bellefontaine. Okay. So I think they do a lot with drug abuse and everything. So prevention, which is really, really cool. And we had a couple speakers come in at the beginning of our season, and so we had Christina Kesterson who came in and talked about prevention, and then we had 2 other women come in and talk about food scarcity and homelessness, and the thing that kind of we felt that represented us best and what we could do our best with would be homelessness, just because you don't see a lot of teens talk about the matter. So it's just it's really cool to see what we've been able to do over how long we've had the club. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
I love it. You're a part of Deca.
I am.
Just talk for a minute about what Deca is.
Sure. So Deca is a career development program, and it is based through business. So kind of the 4 pillars of business: finance, marketing, I believe management of any kind, as well as finance.
Okay.
Did I say finance already?
Yeah.
I did. Oh, dang it. I'm doing great at this.
You can say it twice.
Oh, great.
It's that important.
It's all business. Let's just say that. But it's actually, this year was my first year. And so it is through, supply chain management. So that's like the path that you take at the high school. And if you take one of those classes, then it's a co-curricular with Deca. Okay. So this year I was able to do a lot. So me and my great friend, Abby Lilleman, she and I were able to create an integrated marketing campaign. So we actually did it over United Way. Yes. And so we took it with us to the state competition at the convention center. Yeah. And we made...
Not that long ago.
No.
Right?
It was, I believe it was in March.
That's what I thought it was. Yeah, spring break-ish time.
Yes. Yeah. And so we competed it there. And it was actually the same day as Showcase, so it was like...
Oh, my gosh.
Very crazy. Yeah, it was very, very crazy. But so...
So you did both?
Yeah. So and she's in the show choir as well. So it was like my brother, so he lives in Columbus. Yeah. So it's because he goes to OSU. Yeah. So he picked us up like from... Like right after we competed, I'm like, we need to go because it was a 2-day event. So you competed the first night, and then you stayed the night at the convention center hotel. The hotel connected to it. Yeah. And then the next morning you get up to the other like opening ceremony, and they say like who made it on to finals. Okay. And so when we found out, I'm like texting my brother like crazy. I'm like, you need to come and get us like right after we go. And so I believe we were in the top 12.
That's
awesome. We were like 11th or something. So
that's super cool.
Yeah, it was really great. And so I think given, the stress of that day, I was like, I just need to get home. But so he drove the both of us to my house, and then we got ready, and then we went over to the high school. So the both of us were invited to go to the International Career Development Convention, known as ICDC, for Deca, and that was held in Atlanta, Georgia.
Cool.
And so we got to participate in this conference called Thrive.
Okay.
So we explored different types of just pillars of business, so entrepreneurship, marketing, as well as, why does college matter, all of these different great things, community service. And so we really wanted to focus on how we could make it back there next year.
Yeah.
Because next year it's supposed to be held in Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
So, so if you're not competing, like my teacher described it, you'll be just laying out on the, at the pool. And I was like, that sounds
not a bad
amazing.
gig.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be the big city, like, I know both of us are
Love.
city girls.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yeah.
So, but still, some relaxation would be nice too.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So you are doing those three things. You're a dancer, you're in show choir, you work, you're a daughter, a friend, a girlfriend, all the things. It's like I'm sitting here thinking, like, what have I done with my life? So what's next for Gigi? What do you want to do after your senior year?
Oh, goodness. That's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've thought about this a lot. I think what I want to do, it's very broad, but I just want to help people.
Yeah.
And I know that is like, wow, you can do that with any job, but it's something where I think I have been lucky enough to been given a voice, and I think it's something where I want to use it for good and I want to use it to help people. And so I love talking to people, learning about people's different cultures and just ways of being.
Yeah.
I think I've talked to my parents about law. I definitely think after high school I want to focus on political science. That is kind of what and just again about how the world works, how we can maybe better the system that we have right now, because our world is just so polarized.
Sure.
And so I think that's something that's really important to me. I also think I could see myself becoming a nonprofit lawyer working for EJI, like the Equal Justice Initiative, or there's a program, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but they work to help defend kids in really harsh situations. Just being able to just step up when I know that some can't, not because they're not, but just because
their situation or
right. So because they're just oppressed or, you know. So I think that's kind of the path, the social science path, you could say.
Yeah, I love it.
So my grandma, she was like, Gigi, you better take physics this year. And I did. And I was like, science is just not an option. So I'm like, everything. I tried biology, chemistry. It's not an option.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, and I think a lot of people have always asked me too, like, are you going to continue with music? And it's just something, I want to. Obviously, we're going to start a tap club. I know you
need to.
Yeah, it's going to happen. So
yes.
I'm deciding that right now for you, but
it's on the record right now.
Right. But I think I definitely, it's important for me to go to a school that has a good program for music.
Sure.
Just to be involved with it. But I definitely, it's for me, it's my therapy. It's, I think for a long time, I thought I was kind of doing it for others and for audience members and whoever came. It was like, okay, I got to sell what I'm buying. But no, I do it for me, and that's good enough. And
yeah. It's fantastic, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you.
No, that's actually super cool that you say that when you think about what you want to do. I kind of had the same response when I was young.
Yeah.
Parents would say, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? And I just would say, I just want to change the world. I just want to change people. I just want to make things better, right? And you're right. That can look and be a lot of different things. But I mean, you're doing it now.
Well, thank you.
So what do you think about, I think one of the questions that we've asked people who have been here and focusing on how people get involved or participate in good stuff is a lot of times we'll talk about these big projects or things that take up lots of time or lots of energy. But what about the, let's say, teenager or even younger? Maybe they're in middle school or up and coming high school or whatever it might be. and they say, I don't have a lot of space to do that. How can that student still be doing good? What are things that they can do that, and maybe not committing to that huge time, right? That I mean, you obviously have a lot of things that are that are taking time. But what about the kid who just can't do that? How can they still be kind of engaging and participating in that good stuff?
I think one thing that my parents have done a great job with instilling in me and my brothers is that respect matters. And I think just being able to respect all types of people, being able to talk to all types of people. I've been in situations where I think you can kind of tell who's the outcast and who's not being reached out to. And I think, it's really hard to be that person to say, okay, I'm going to leave where I feel comfortable, with the people that I'm with in the group that I've, grown up with or hang out with, and being able to invite that person, or just even just saying somebody by name and knowing knowing that somebody, you are known to someone, because mental health is so important. And I know we talk about that all the time, but I mean, it's just something to know, if somebody says my name and knows my name,
world of difference.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so different, and being able to have that meaningful conversation is just epic.
Yeah. And
so
that's great. And it doesn't require a huge amount of time. Just that, I see you. I actually see
and
you.
just being able to, again, the golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated, but just, again, I think just showing that respect to somebody can go a really long way. So
sure. I love it. When you walked out, I said, what have we done with our life? What have we been doing?
stop.
Well, if anything, I think what have I been doing? Because you two are more alike than you give yourself credit for.
Well, that's just because we dance. But
Dance, and you've
Thank
never
you.
done much neither.
Yeah. Jeez. No, I'm just
slackers over here.
Are
A
you
few points of
kidding?
involvement, but point being, you're very involved, and you're very lots of things, active and giving, and so well done.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
I think one of the, we were talking about this a little bit before we started. I'm lucky enough to be around teenagers and younger all the time, and I think we oftentimes, as it's always been, right, the youngest generation gets the worst rap, right? It's
Yeah.
it's whoever is kids right now are the worst. We've never seen kids like this, right? That's just sort of how it goes. We were kids, and had that rap too. Yet every week I'm reminded at how incredible that your generation really is, and how much good is already coming from you. And I'm excited to see how things change, because, while I think your generation has had to deal with far more than ours, and certainly far more than our grandparents in different ways, right? Not that each generation doesn't have their own stuff to carry. Right. They certainly do. And there's things that our great grandparents went through that we would never be able to comprehend, right? And is definitely as equally as challenging, just different ways. I think you all have been, and certainly every generation has their bumps, but I think really looking across the board and saying how much you care about situations that are far beyond you is incredible, and I think that's telling probably across your generation. Not that everybody's like that, but I feel like I see a lot of young people who are homelessness, for example, doesn't impact me, but it does impact me because I live in this community, and because of that, I care about the people in this community, and there's people that are housing unstable. And so, right. And I think that's a pretty cool thing for young people to care enough about to do something, right? It's not just oh yeah, I care about it. We should do something. You actually are. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool to see that. And going back to Global Scholars.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of those projects coming through, and they were like major things, not just
absolutely.
We held a bake sale. Not that a bake sale is bad, but
Right.
like they're like big projects.
Yeah.
Getting great recognition. Like you guys aren't messing around, you know?
For sure. Some of those projects, it's just, I think it's interesting how there's so many different ways that you can change an issue.
Yeah.
I think one thing, I know if you've heard of Abby Kay's podcast, oh my gosh, Cries for Climate, it's awesome. And she just does that out of the goodness of her heart. I asked her, I'm like, you're going into singing and songwriting. Like, do you still want to? And she's like, oh yeah, I'm still planning on continuing it. Like, and it's not like anybody's,
nobody's forcing her.
Right.
Like,
it's just.
And she's another one who's crazy busy, involved in 8 billion things, and is still like, yeah, sure, I have time for that.
Right.
I don't know, and does it well.
Oh yeah, my parents are just like, how do you? And I'm like, I don't even want to get in this conversation. I'm like, let's just stop it there.
Awesome. Any major I don't know. That's a loaded question. I was just going to talk about or ask you.
I think we're up on time.
Oh, okay. Maybe I shouldn't. I was just going to ask you major things you've seen, positive things that we can speak to post-pandemic, if we can say that. I don't know if we can say that. But at this point, something good that you've seen among teenagers come out of that, because we know we've seen a lot of not great things come out of it.
Yes. Oh, for sure. I think my mom and I actually talk about this a lot. I think it's just something that when we were in quarantine, we learned to live without a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so it kind of made going back into real life hard, but it also was like, okay, maybe I don't need this in my life, or maybe these type of people aren't the best for me, or, just kind of rethinking and I also think I told myself, I was like, I'm going to be a sponge, and I'm going to, try to soak up every opportunity that's given to me, because we don't know what's going to happen.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people are kind of like, oh, you're doing too much. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, fair. But I mean, it's also just something where I don't want to look back and just say oh, wow, I wish I would have tried that or seen how that went.
Sure.
So not to, dig on anybody that, I think it's just something where I was just able to kind of reinvent myself a little bit. And and I think I've seen that through some other people that I know. And I think we've all been able to really just kind of focus on what makes us happy more than, stuff that we feel that we need.
Felt obligated to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What did your mom call that?
Voluntold.
No. Well, yes. Yeah. Derek knows that word. No, was there some about the quarantine? Not opportunity. What was it? What did she say?
Oh crap! It was crap. I think it was Corona tune. No. We had a poster on the wall, and it was something like
something
that.
Like quarantunity or something. Yeah.
And so we had that on the wall, and we just wrote all the positives.
I love it.
So I think I had on there no state testing, and no more school, and that was a really big positive. But I think we also had some other things, for my brothers, they got to finish out their semester online, and they ended, I think, really well with the grades that they had. It was for everybody, so we were all able to write something. My dad wrote some stuff about work. Of course, my mom wrote some stuff about work. And then I think we had another one in which, what we wanted to do during the pandemic. So I was like, I'm going to learn how to sew. I never did, but I tried.
Technically, it's not over.
That is true.
You still have time.
But I was like, I'm going to learn how to sew. I'm going to get into songwriting. Yeah, I never really did, but I did read a lot. So
hey, there you go.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was really fun. I feel like, hopefully I'm not going on too much, but I think it was just cool, given to that I don't see my brothers a lot because they're on campus, at OSU. And so it was just nice to have family dinners again and breakfasts together. When have we ever gotten to do that?
Yeah. So. Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So we always like to end with posing a challenge to listeners. So this can be anything from just seeing another person like you mentioned before, or it can be buying coffee for the person behind you or whatever it is, but some sort of challenge that people listening can partake in to help spread good stuff this week. And so we like to ask our guests if they've got a challenge for listeners. So
I have a challenge, but it might be a little bit of a challenge, which I think is good.
That's good. That's good.
So I think what's really awesome is when I have a conversation with a friend and I tell them about something and then I see them again and then they remember what I said. Yeah. Maybe it was like, oh, I'm going in for like a job interview, or I have this big thing that I'm worried about, or a test, and they like ask me about that. Yeah. So I would pose that if you have a conversation with somebody today and they tell you something big, or even something, small, like, oh, I spilled coffee on my way to work, or something like that. Like, you ask like a follow-up question just to show that you care and that you remember. And you listen. So I think a lot of our world is just so full of talkers, included. Like, so I think I, for one, need to learn how to listen better. And I think some others do as well. So I will, of course, do the challenge. But yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. I don't think that's too hard.
Okay.
I think that's great.
It's like, but you have to like, it comes with a prerequisite.
Yeah.
So you
first you have to
like,
have the conversation, and then you got to follow it up.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I like that. Yeah. So remember, if you do that, we want to know about it. So make sure you let us know. That way you can be entered into the raffle for this quarter.
Ooh.
And maybe win something fun for doing good things. So.
That's good stuff.
That's good stuff. Yeah. Awesome. Well, Gigi, you're amazing, and you give me so much hope for the future. And I love that you're not a senior quite
right.
yet.
Me too.
that comes too quick for me.
Yeah.
Keep doing the awesome things, and let's make sure you're back next year and telling us how the project went.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
All the things going on. So awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're the best. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Tune in again next week. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all of the things. And until next time, keep doing good stuff.